Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Alien vs Predator Galaxy YouTube channel. This is once again Aaron Percival, aka Corporal Hicks, and joining me, as always, is
Adam Zeller, aka Ridgetop.
and we're continuing our Let's Play of Aliens vs Predator Extinction with the second mission of the Marine campaign, Alien Incident Reviewed. So let's get started. USCM Command is currently consulting with research scientist Dr. Samuel Kadinsky on an analysis of the creatures neutralized during your previous mission. Similar outbreaks will not be tolerated as Weyland-Yutani demands there be no further delays to its mining operations. Marine campaign is looking into other possible disturbances and requires a broad communications network be built to track and coordinate. Damn it. You'll have to go back and pause.
Just pause the video if you'd like to read that.
Is central to the communications network currently under construction. First, you are to locate and secure the network relay that is stored in an outpost to the north with whom contact has been lost. A synthetic engineer is the only unit cleared to handle the device, so make sure one is available when it is located. Once the network relay is secured, await further orders, as telemetry engineers are now working to determine its optimal deployment location. Optional goals will arise during a mission and are displayed on the pause menu. They are worthy goals, but are not required for a successful mission.
Yeah, so I doubt throughout my playthrough I'm going to go and hit all the optionals, I'll be honest. I have done on this one, but I'm probably not going to do on all of them. It's funny, we were talking about it earlier, weren't we? In the age of no achievements to unlock, do you go and do all the optionals?
Yeah, I think you were telling me you just have like a little banner you get next to the mission in the main menu if you complete it on part-time.
Because I think this might be the playthrough where I missed part-time by like 18 seconds, and I was so tempted to go back and redo it, but I was like, nah, it's fine. So this is like I was mentioning as well. Most of the marine missions will start you next to atmosphere processors. So again, it's just the process of repairing, building your force, and upgrading whatever units you want before you crack on and start moving into the map. And it'll normally be like a little slow process as well, because I think in this mission you move to about 3 different atmosphere processors, and along the way you're sort of like trying to hold your own and then amass the forces even more. I do love units arriving on the dropship though. The game does a lot with the theme and the source material, and I think it really does feel like it belongs in the AVP universe.
Yeah, it's cool to see it, like, flying and landing.
Just checking the objectives.
What are my objectives? And the atmosphere processor slowly generate money to bring in more units. Until a certain point where they just explode.
Yeah, which is the sort of yellowy bar when you hover over them. Tells you how much money you're going to earn from that processor, basically, because as you get further on into the game, you do get more money for each of the processors, because obviously the units start to become more expensive and the objectives become harder. So that's only got like 300 there. So I can work out how many more units I can probably get. So I've only got a small amount of forces available to me at this point, but compared to the previous mission, I now can upgrade more units as well. So there is that typical power creep as you play through the game. It would have been nice to have been able to have had vehicles in the game, but with it being a more squad-based strategy, I can totally see why we don't. But I still think there's very much space for a bigger scale RTS.
Well, there's
an
at
Alien
least like
Predator.
a weapons-based power loader, isn't there?
Yeah, there's an exosuit that's very similar to the Alice suit that you get in AVP2. Because a lot,
I guess when you
the
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's a lot of aesthetic and sound shared between this and AVP2, which was apparently deliberate on Fox Interactive part to create like a visual and audio consistency between the games of the era.
That's their excuse.
That's their excuse. Obviously, it's very much cuts down on development time, but this game was in development from a good few years. It's in my notes. I best find them actually.
It was developed by Zono, right?
Yes, developed by Zono, published by EA, along with Fox Interactive.
And EA only had the license for 2 games, right? This one and Concrete Jungle.
I don't think they published Concrete Jungle.
Did they not?
No. Even some of the music you'll hear is also recycled from the older games as well. Again, Rich Ragsdale, but it is reuse of stuff.
You're right. Concrete Jungle was Vivendi.
Mm-hmm. So unlike the sort of beige plains of Mission 1, this one's more volcanic sort of environment. And I think this... Is this the same one? No, I think there's another volcanic one later on that gets reused across all 3 campaigns, which is a quite nice one. Where it takes you into the caves. So that one's still got a good half a grand left on it, near enough.
Enough for 5 more units?
Yeah. Look at Weyland Yutani always getting us to do their dirty work and repair their processors. At least they're paying us for it, I suppose.
Reporting in. Copy that. Standing by.
See, that stopped letting me buy more because I'd hit the limit. The population cap. And then I'll probably go and upgrade the synths. Yeah, there we go. So I've maxed out everything I can now.
So you are ready to rock.
I'm ready to rock. Ready to get it on.
If this is a cave, that's a skilled dropship pilot.
No, this is just volcanic plains, I think.
Oh, is it?
And here we see our first bit of alien hive in the game.
Yeah,
it's generated by those nodes.
I think you do have cave environments though, right? And they have like stalagmites and stalactites. Like
you go inside an alien hive in a cave. You go inside several caves, bases, marine and predator bases throughout the game. There is a lot of visual. Trying to think of the right word here. There's a lot of unique environments throughout the campaign, so it doesn't get boring. You're not looking at the same sort of scenery every time, mission after mission. And even like the setups can be different. You know, some missions, I think it's the next one, you start without contact. You have to find the squad as you progress through the mission. So, you know, early mission, it's dangerous in terms of being possibly wiped out. I think the game deserves a lot more credit than it probably got at time of release. You know, it didn't review massively well. People didn't hate it, but the critics didn't love it. But this is this has definitely become one of those ones where that pathfinding again. But this is one of those games where when you bring up the topic, you'll tend to have a lot of people being like, "Oh, I love that game. Used to spend so much time playing it," and it certainly has its flaws, but things like the pathfinding is hardly unique to this game. It is a problem with a lot of RTSs.
Yeah, I think a main complaint too at the time, and probably one of the issues with critics, was that it was probably just compared to these really more popular PC RTS games like StarCraft and like Command and Conquer and stuff like that had multiplayer modes. You know, it was less common you saw RTS on console at this point.
I think there'd been some ports of Command and Conquer at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think
you did have some ports.
I think this was the first from the ground up RTS for a console.
Copy that.
And to be fair, it works really well. You know, they got it not feeling overwhelming on a controller.
Games like this, though, definitely make me wish I was using a mouse and keyboard. So I still hope if it was to ever receive a re-release or a remaster, that they would have a PC version and implement multiplayer.
Honestly, at this point, I would just look like an Extinction 2 that was built for the PC, you know, built to be a bit more in-depth.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as much as I enjoy the game, there's always going to be a part of me that's like, oh, I'd just love to rock up with an APC. Or move my units about via a dropship. Goddamn pathfinding. Come on. I think this was the worst example of it in my playthroughs of this mission, but it was the one where I couldn't find the queen in a previous recording. I'd gone past her by accident and gone too far up to the right.
Copy that. Copy that.
I love like the little, you know, spout there, throwing the steam up.
Yeah, those little environmental details really add to the atmosphere.
It's also maybe another sort of unintentional callback, because it just like makes me think of Ash's description of LV426.
Oh, you got that queen.
Yep, that's what a fully assembled squad of Colonial Marines can do.
Now the red circles around the dead space cows there, they show you that those things can be used as hosts, right?
You cannot kill the... So whereas, as we'll see in this mission, when your units are killed, they can be taken by the aliens and used as hosts. And you are able to kill them. In general, when you get a red circle around your units, your player units, it means they've been hit with like a special attack. So that'll be like the drones can be upgraded to what they call, I think, cystic drones, where it's like a special acid attack that lets them like track you through the fog of war. So like they're like the first units that you want to start healing with the medics and stuff like that. Around, I think it'll be the same connotation around the units that they're dragging, but you aren't able to kill the creatures that they've killed in the same way that you can take down your own units to stop them from being used as hosts, which is a feature I really like. I love the fact that your units can go down and be taken by the aliens, and it's up to you whether you want to put them out of their misery. Not quite the same as killing an infected host, because this the game says they're comatose. So you know, there's a chance you could take them back to what's the ship called, the Esmeralda.
Oh, we don't have time for that.
In here, it's just a mercy killing of no, you're dead.
Expect anyone in this unit to do the same for me.
That game got a really good new RTS recently.
Isn't it an FPS that's coming out?
No, there's an FPS due out later this month as of recording, but they had an RTS last year, I think it was.
Oh, that's
was really
right.
good.
It was good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Try that one.
Got a lot of playtime out of that. My units start going haywire here as well. in terms of the pathfinding and the AI. I just had such bad AI and pathfinding on this playthrough.
You know, speaking of Starship Troopers, that base there kind of looks like one of them with the exterior perimeter wall there.
Mm-hmm. That game makes good use. The new Starship Troopers game made good use of that sort of environment and that tribute. It's not, you don't really see holdout moments in this game in that same vein. I assume the temptation would be there, but I think it's a good idea that they didn't do it the same way. There we are. I put the flamethrower guy out of his misery. Because everybody was too busy running away and I was trying to corral them back in.
Yes. Understood.
Yeah, there was another RTS game I played back in the day called Mech Commander, and it was in the BattleTech universe. So I had played like some of the Mech Assault games when I was young, and I was like, oh, there's a Mech Warrior RTS. So I tried that, and it was all right. Definitely prefer being in the cockpit of one of those mechs, though.
I think I played that. Or at least tried it. I definitely played a few mech games over the years. There's that third-person one that was out on the Xbox as well, Mech Assault.
Yeah, those were great. There were two of them, and I think the second one was one of the earlier Xbox Live multiplayer games. Yeah, the Mech Assault games were great. I'd still love to see a third one because they were a bit more action-based than the Mech Warrior games, which were a bit more sim kind of based.
So speaking of mechs, then, would you like to see them more in these games? Obviously, at the time this came out, Alice and the mech suit were reasonably popular because of AVP2. And they've been in the comics in the form of the mech suits and, to some extent, the armored versions of the power loader in Female War, Earth War, Earth Hive? Oh, Earth War. And you know, it was Aliens and Ripley and the power loader that made that popular, but it's not something you see very often in the games nowadays.
Yeah,
what do you think? You want him back?
I do wish they would bring him back. I mean, you think about that Alice mission in AVP2, it was one of the best missions in the game, and the last time we got to pilot a power loader was Aliens Colonial Marines, which wasn't
the best mission.
Yeah. So it would be nice to see them used more, you know?
I love those Blue Warriors. They're just so iconic to this game, I think.
Yeah, it was a really cool coloration for the alien warriors. It almost kind of reminds me, if you remember the back of that Alien Resurrection VHS, they had the hanging alien display, I think from Stan Winston
Stan Winston
Studio,
Studios,
and it
yeah.
was lit in a way where it was like
Very
blue
blue
and
and green.
green. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. It just that coloration just always makes me think of this game, especially when it gets to like the Ravagers later. It was the synths that cost me the part-time in this mission, by the way,
Understood.
as we'll see later on, because they just keep running away and dying.
Understood.
I had to wait for one of them to be repaired.
Understood.
Look at that chaos, absolute carnage. All that acid spin as well.
Jeez.
Massacre them all.
And sometimes the units vomit on the Marine side. I'm still not sure exactly what causes that.
It's the acid damage.
Oh, really?
I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
The noxious acid, huh?
And it's black as well. It's black vomit. So we've already, again, got the accelerant.
Oh, get out of here with that.
Oh, it's not. Can't all be coincidences, Adam.
Oh, they had that planned out this far before Prometheus, did they?
Yes.
Understood. Understood.
And there's our final beacon.
Standing by.
I feel like we might be about to encounter something new here. So I moved them out of the way so the dropship didn't have to go further up and drop its troops off in front of an enemy that I knew was up there. Because if you do sort of leave your units in the way, dropships do seem to move a little bit to accommodate deploying.
You got it. I'll take care of it.
Although there's an alien dragging one of the Ozbox, I think they're called. So it does seem to let me know there's potentially a new hive being built up there. Because that's normally a good way to find out whether the queen is or the main hive is the direction that the alien units drag the various wildlife in.
And it is always cool to see the extraterrestrial wildlife in these expanded universe stories, you know.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's something that was only really the games of this era. So, you know, you had some in AVP2. There's a good variety in here. And I think one of the ones that this introduces ends up in Concrete Jungle as well. The scorpion type ones. Acrylic, I think they're called. What on earth is that thing, Adam?
Looks like just a Predator sentry gun.
It's definitely look Predator in origin. Look at that synth getting massacred in the middle.
Hey, you still have 21 units.
I know, all my synths have gone down though. so nobody can pick it up. So.
But as we mentioned during our live stream, you can repair the synths using Comtech.
Yes. So that's what's about to happen.
I think you can only revive them once though.
No, I think you can keep going until they're completely fucked, yeah. But I'm also like, quick, let's order one. I'd moved them around earlier just in case there was still a synth sort of hidden in the masses, and there was not.
Understood.
So but naturally, you know, the optimal position for my communication beacon was in the middle of this nascent hive. And there we go.
Ooh, you did it.
Don't even have to deploy it. And I failed by 18 seconds
Oh, that was a close
to hit the
one.
part-time. That was absolutely wounding. But yeah, that was mission 2. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, I mean, another unique environment. We'll have to see how the whole campaign progresses. I've been starting with the alien campaign, so I've been playing a little out of order, but I did play through the first 3 Marine missions the last time we live streamed, and this was a good one. You know, it was a bit more challenging than the first one, so it stepped it up a bit. But yeah,
Enjoyed that one as well. Not the most memorable of the campaign, I don't think. But still a nice little step up of the scale, of the scope, of the objectives and the missions and the units at your disposal. So again, enjoyed it. I'm happy with that one. And I think it's time we move on to mission 3.
sounds like a plan.
So thank you everybody once again for watching. If you're new to the channel, please head back to the main page, check out some of our other Let's Plays, check out some of our previous live plays. You know, we stream generally most Sundays, should I say. But we have plenty of other content. We've got video versions of our podcasts. We have video editorials. On the website, there's written versions of those and audio versions of the podcast. So yeah, you can find us on all the main socials as AVP Galaxy or Alien versus Predator Galaxy. Hub of our activity is avpgalaxy.net, where we post the news as it happens. We also have message boards and a lot of written content. But for now, this has been Corporal Hicks.
And Ridgetop.
And thank you for watching.